Has it ever felt like LinkedIn ads are just, well, expensive brand awareness with really no real ROI? Well, what if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? Today's guest is here to show us exactly how you can turn those dollars into actual leads. This episode is brought to you by Metricool. From planning to publishing to understanding what's actually working, Metricool gives you data-driven control. And with their built-in AI tools and competitor tracking, you'll stop guessing and start growing. Just click the link in the show notes for 30 free days of premium access and make sure to use the code Katie30. All right, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Today, I'm sitting down with someone that I've seen speak on stage since before COVID. The very first time I was introduced to this guest was at Social Media Marketing World. They took the stage and talked all about LinkedIn ads. And ever since then, I've been dying to get him on the podcast. He and I have had the opportunity to hang out at Agents of Change event. We've seen each other at Social Media Marketing World again and again. Social Media Week, we've run into each other, and every time I've been like, please come on my show and let's talk about ads. And here he is, everyone. Today, I am talking with the one and only AJ Wilcox. He is a LinkedIn ads pro, and he is the founder of B2Linked.com, the host of the LinkedIn Ad Show podcast. So if you like this podcast, give his podcast a listen as well. And he's the guy that's managed over $200 million, million dollars in ad spend. And his company car, well, it is a wicked fast go-kart. Yes. So AJ Wilcox, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Katie, I'm so excited to finally be here. Thank you. I'm just honored and flattered.
You live just on the other side of the Rocky Mountains from me. You're over in Utah. I'm here in Denver. And before I hit record here, we talked all things root beer. So Tommyknocker Brewery, I'm going to send you some of their root beer here after the show. So, LinkedIn ads, I know that a lot of people, I think maybe Meta ads are a little bit sexier. They're a little bit easier, let's be honest. LinkedIn ads, what made you decide to dive all in the LinkedIn ad space?
I came from the world of SEO and Google ads. And this has been about 14 years ago, but I got hired into a B2B SaaS company. I didn't know anything about B2B. Everything I had done to that point was B2C. And so I kind of waltzed in thinking, okay, well, I'll figure this out, not realizing how different and complex it was. And I kind of stumbled onto LinkedIn ads there just because it's B2B. And my boss was like, hey, check and see like what you think of this. It could work for us. And I ended up growing that to become LinkedIn's largest spending account at the time.
Oh, wow.
And it was our most successful channel. It blew everything I was doing with SEO away. It blew everything I was doing with Google ads away, to the point where I gave it my full attention. And after running the biggest account in the world for 2.5 years, I went, there have to be more companies than just this one that LinkedIn ads would be successful. So just over 10 years ago, I started B2Linked. We're a LinkedIn ads only agency, and it's been fun. I wondered if I would ever get sick of it. And I don't. I still wake up every day super excited about LinkedIn ads.
Well, in LinkedIn ads, I think that if for people that are listening, who are LinkedIn ads for and who are they not for?
Super important question, because what everyone seems to know about LinkedIn ads is they are expensive. And it's true. We've always paid a premium for LinkedIn ads traffic. And so what you want to keep in mind, we have access to the very best business targeting. So you can target by like someone's job title and their role, their seniority, what department they work in, skills, what groups they're a member of, company size, company name, industry, all of that. But we pay a premium to be able to access that targeting. So what I've found is if that kind of targeting is valuable to you and you have a lifetime value when you close a customer of $10,000 or more, it's a total no-brainer. LinkedIn ads are going to work. If you have less than that, maybe LinkedIn ads could be too expensive, just depending on your tolerance for, where your ROI needs to be.
Why are LinkedIn ads? You said that the consensus, kind of the messaging is always, LinkedIn ads are expensive. Are they more? I know the answer to this, but are they more expensive than Meta ads? And if they are, why?
Yeah, they are legitimately more expensive. What I'm finding for Meta right now is most for business to business kinds of clicks, they're paying $4 to $5 per landing page visit. And on LinkedIn, we're paying on average, I'll say but we get traffic for less than other people do, but most are paying like $10 to $20 per click. So it is legitimately more expensive. If I had to guess why, I think there's two reasons. The first makes a lot of sense, and that's LinkedIn is not the network that people think to come and spend a lot of time on it. And when people spend time on a platform, it creates more ad inventory, which brings prices down. So if the average person is only logging into LinkedIn like 3 or 4 times per month, and they're only loading up 5 or 6 ad slots while they're there, it makes it a scarce resource that as more and more advertisers try to show to them, now they're competing and costs are going up. But even from the beginning, like before competition had set in, LinkedIn set a minimum bid threshold on their first ads of $2. So while you could pay less than $1 for Google ads clicks at the time, and like 1/3 of a cent for Facebook clicks at the time, you had to pay $2 a click on LinkedIn. So there might be an element of like, hey, we're the only game in town, you have to pay more, as well as like the natural economics of it, that it's a scarce resource and people are bidding it up when they find success.
Well, and I think that too with LinkedIn, they have something that's very unique that, Google Ads and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they really can't compete with.
Yeah.
That makes it so ideal if you're a business and running ads on this platform. It's more expensive, but it has something that's very unique. So let's talk about what that unique feature is. And it's the knowing, right?
Yeah. It's the fact that when someone creates a profile on LinkedIn, they're telling LinkedIn where they work. They're telling what skills they have, what position they have, what positions they've had in the past. And all of those are signals that if you're trying to sell something to someone, they're all really important to be able to target. And you may find some ABM platform out there that says, oh, we can target by job title, or we can target by company name, but their data set is going to be, on average, from LinkedIn, older and less accurate. LinkedIn is the network that you go to when you get a promotion or when you change jobs. At the very least, you go and change that, like update your profile. So LinkedIn has the most up-to-date data on all of us, and they have it on, I don't know the stat for sure, but it sure seems like 80+% of white collar professionals, at least in North America, have a profile. And so I'm looking at it like, it really is the only game in town. If you have a very specific kind of business user that you're trying to target, nowhere else can.
Yeah. And I think About Meta ads, it's gotten really hard to do ads on there. So a lot of our clients are home builders, and there's the whole discrimination thing. And, you can't, I can't target people within a certain age group, even though it maybe is for a retirement home. Like I have to target literally everyone, So, I mean, I think that's something that's really cool about LinkedIn. And you mentioned something too that I thought was really interesting about people not being on the platform as long. It's not necessarily quote unquote an entertainment platform like TikTok is. Let's talk about that a little bit more, about how people are showing up on LinkedIn and how you can make the kind of content that will, like an ad content that will stop their scroll, because if people aren't showing up as much and they're showing up and then they're not spending a ton of time on it, what kind of content are you seeing that's actually converting the best for LinkedIn ads right now?
Yeah, I love the question. So LinkedIn is actually doing a much better job now at capturing people's attention. So we're seeing more and more usage on the platform, more and more people spending more time. So this all bodes great for us advertisers. But no matter who you are and what platform you're on, so much of the name of the game is standing out. If everyone else is zigging, you zag, and that's how we get disproportionate amounts of attention in marketing, just as the principle. So on LinkedIn, for lots of years, every kind of post was very much like suit and tie kind of behavior and very professional, and that's just boring. And so we found, I mean, this has been 10 years ago, but we found one of our clients was a comic book artist on the side, and he just came up with an idea like, hey, I'm going to draw this concept of what we do up as a little comic strip, and very not professional. We ran that as an ad. That was the highest performing ad I've ever seen in my life because, this sea of drabness, his stood out and made a personal connection. The same kind of thing holds true now where I tell people like video is probably the best way to get attention right now, and start in the first 1 to 2 seconds of the video. They have to see something that's a hook, that's a strong attention grabber. Otherwise, they're in a hurry. They're just going to move on to the next thing. So I'm finding video, especially short, little snackable videos, tips, tricks, strategies, industry updates. That seems to be the very best content right now.
I love that you brought up video because there's the new video feed on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And maybe, this is just me being naive. I most of the time when I'm on LinkedIn, it's on my desktop. I don't use social media a ton on my mobile device. When I'm away from the office, I'm not like social media is my job. So when I'm away from the office, I try to not be on it too much. But I know that there is I know that there is the LinkedIn video feed on LinkedIn. Are we seeing ads get shown in the video feed, or is that still kind of an organic free zone? Or talk to me about how the video feed is working for ads.
Yeah, the new video feed is, this is an attempt from LinkedIn to get people to spend more time to fix the problem that I talked about earlier. And they're looking at TikTok where people are spending 3 hours a day just doom scrolling and watching. They're like, wow, we want to get a piece of that. So I think that's what we're seeing. As of currently, they're trying to keep it organic only, I think, to get people hooked and interested. And then eventually they'll turn on ads. There might even be some very premium kinds of ads that they can serve them. There's a beta with I forget what they call it, but it's with giant news sources like Business Insider and New York Times. They're playing their content with pre-roll ads in front of it that certain advertisers have been invited to be able to run. And I wouldn't be surprised if those ads start showing up in the video feed right now or in the near future. But as of right now, it's pretty safe. You can keep scrolling content and not have to be interrupted by an ad.
Well, and I think that too, if you're seeing video ads working right now in the feed, and right now it is a little bit of that organic play, the video feed. Maybe if you have a video ad, LinkedIn might maybe test it in the feed.
They could. It seems like a no-brainer.
You could get extra eyes on your content and kind of be ahead of the game. So
yeah.
What do you think about the video that you're seeing convert the best? Is it, you said that short snackable stuff. Are we talking a talking head? Are we talking like something more professionally done? I know that on LinkedIn, it is a professional, network or whatever, but are we seeing that kind of selfie kind of holding the camera sort of content convert as an ad?
I will mention, I don't find video ads to convert very well on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
They're very much like a nurture and educate the prospect and then retarget them later with something that's more of an ask that they can convert on.
Ooh,
and so
I love that.
Very much the kind of video that I'm finding working for getting attention at the lowest costs and priming and educating customers is talking head video. And it's starting with a hook and giving nonstop value. You try to make it quick. I try to do like 30 to 40 seconds to a cold audience. If it's a warmer audience, you can make it a little bit longer and people will put up with it. But that's every time I've tried other kinds of content like whiteboard videos or like a professionally made studio kind of ad that fades from black to their logo, I see nothing. It's expensive to run and people don't stick around because it's boring. But a talking head, someone who is teaching you something, giving you real value, we love as humans, and people are sticking around, and we're getting costs per retargetable viewer down to like 9 cents to retarget someone in the next stage down, which is fantastic. We build 3-stage funnels to get someone to conversion, and we're finding that video is leading to the very most effective building of these 3-stage funnels.
I love that you are not that you clarified that you're not making the ask with the video, right? It's brand awareness. You're just trying to, hey, this is who I am. This is what I educate on, or this is what my business does. And you're keeping them engaged. And it's like, here's the value, right? And then you follow up with that next phase of the funnel. So if someone says, okay, this is great, AJ, and I know that you have your membership. Real fast, just tell everyone about your LinkedIn membership, your ads membership here, and then I'll get to my next question.
Awesome. Yeah, so we have a private community. It's called the LinkedIn Ads Fanatics. And if you want to check it out, you can go to fanatics.b2linked.com. But what it is it's a community where there's two different tiers. There's a $79 a month and a $279 a month. You get access to all 4 of our courses. It's me just teaching you every aspect of LinkedIn ads that you need to know, access to the whole community. And then if you're in the $279 version, we call those the super fanatics. We hop on a weekly group call all together where we just get to ask questions and talk about whatever topics they want. So if you're looking to do LinkedIn ads yourself, maybe you don't want to afford or you can't afford an agency to do it for you, that's a great option.
And I think that what we're talking about today, okay, so this is a great awareness. Next phase of the funnel is this. And this is all stuff that you talk about in your membership and really train on. So be sure to check that out. We will include a link in the show notes. But I think that one of the things that most of us forget, especially with ads, is that it's really hard to just show up and make a cold sale in the ads. I mean, I get the Amazon, carousels. I'm like, oh, how did they know that I was into tie-dye sweatshirts? Of course I want to click it. But I mean, it's Amazon. They know my browsing history, all of that creepy Big Brother stuff that we don't want to talk about. But I mean, for most of the Rocky Mountain Marketing listeners, we're introducing ourselves.
Yep.
We're not Nike. It's way harder to make that ask from the very first. I mean, and even then they spent years building out brand awareness. So having that first video saying, what it is that you do or giving that value, what is your next phase of the funnel? And how should people really be allocating their budgets? I mean, is the majority of the budget going to that brand awareness video and then, half the budget's going into the next phase of it? Or let's talk about how you funnel people through.
Yeah, I love that you're asking this question. When you very first start building the funnel, you'll have a stage 1 is what I call it. It's your cold audience, but you won't have a stage 2 or a stage 3 yet. So 100% of your budget is going to stage 1, and that's going to be these thought leader videos. As soon as you have an audience big enough to run a stage 2 kind of ad, you need at least 300 people in an audience for LinkedIn to run it. Then you start giving it as much budget as it can spend efficiently without overpaying. And then that builds your stage 3 over time. So I would say if you're running really heavy for, let's say, a 3-month period, you might spend in month 1, 90% of your budget at stage 1 on these videos. In month 2, you might be spending 80% on the top and then 20% at middle. And then in month 3, you're trying because stage 3 is where you actually get the business result that you're looking for, which is usually like a demo, a consultation, meeting with sales. And so I want to give, as big as that audience is, I want to give them as much as I can possibly give them without overpaying. And so over time, you kind of see that the funnel inverting where, like, if I have a big stage 3 audience, I may try to spend the majority of my money there, and then whatever's left, give it to stage 2, and then whatever's left, give it to stage 1.
So if someone's listening like, man, this sounds really great. It sounds complicated. I'm going to check out your community here, AJ, but this sounds complicated and it sounds like I need a lot of money. What kind of budget are we talking about here?
I generally don't recommend approaching LinkedIn ads if you have less than about $5,000 a month to spend on LinkedIn ads every month. I find that if you dedicate less than about $5,000, chances are you'll end up with your tests not being statistically significant. You may not actually be able to tell very quickly what's working and what's not. So $5,000 is about that, like a good starting point.
One of the things too with that, AJ, I think that's important to point out is that's the whole budget, and that's not just for the one part of the funnel.
Correct. Yeah. And you're going to start out giving more of that budget to the top of the funnel. And so you might have your first couple months where you're not spending enough in a stage 3 to actually see leads. And so I would think of this very much as like an investment, a longer term play. So you're not expecting in month 1, like, hey, I'm starting to run some of these short thought leader ad videos. Why aren't people knocking down my door trying to become my customer? Like, it takes time.
Let's say we have that $5,000 budget. We're going to build out this pipeline that you've talked about. How do you structure your funnels that go beyond just lead gen?
I would start with Stage one are these videos, and I would specifically make them as LinkedIn has a new ad format called thought leader ads. And what that means is we're boosting an individual's post rather than a company post. So Katie, you record one of these videos, you post on LinkedIn yourself with this video and your caption and whatever. We sponsor that as your stage one ads. And then anyone who watches at least 50% of one of those videos, that's when we graduate them down to stage two. At stage two, I want to give them more content, something meatier, something they can really sink their teeth into. And that might be, longer videos. It might be listen to our podcast or subscribe to our podcast, watch a YouTube video or subscribe to our YouTube channel, ebooks, guides. And I try whatever we do at this stage, I try to keep it ungated if possible, just because I want everyone that we send to it to get value out of it, because the goal here is not to capture their information because they're not going to respond yet when sales reaches out. I want to give them so much value that by the time we follow up and say, you look ready, do you want to talk to someone in sales? They're much more likely to accept.
I love that. It's a way of showing up to where you're getting the right people. Why waste the money on a click or anything if it's not someone that's actually going to buy from you, right?
Exactly.
And I feel like there's so often, and I'm not trying to poo-poo all over Meta ads, but I feel like that happens a lot where you set up a lot of these parameters about who you want the ad to get in front of, and it still misses the mark. And so you're paying to get in front of someone that's they're kind of maybe a fit, but you actually need to get on a call with them and make sure, then see where they're at. I mean, it just seems like it's a lot more work.
Yes.
So while it is a little bit more expensive, I think that you're getting better fits into your pipeline, right?
Definitely. Yeah. We put up with Facebook because it's cheaper, but now that Facebook has gotten into this $4 or $5 a click, whereas it used to be maybe $1 to $2, more and more advertisers are going, all right, I would much rather get LinkedIn leads because they're high quality, sales like them, they don't complain, versus the Meta ones where they have to disqualify 90% because they're not the right people. No shade on Meta. Meta just doesn't know who you are professionally. They know everything about you personally, but they don't know your title and your level of seniority and what company size as much as they try to figure it out.
For people that are doing B2B, it's really a no-brainer.
Totally.
Right? It's a no-brainer if you're doing B2B. Well, you said that $5,000 budget. If you have the budget, it makes sense because you're going to get in front of the exact right person. It's going to cost a little bit more per click. Now, you said something else too that I thought was really interesting. You pay around $2 or less than $2 per lead. Full transparency. I've done some LinkedIn ads for clients. Just I can go. I'm kind of going my way around there. I can go ahead and help you out with that. And I'm like, man, I'm seeing sometimes $9 to $25 a lead.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, but again, I'm like, well, this is exactly. I mean, I have 700 people to target. So I mean, I don't have this big. Yeah, but anyways.
Yep.
what I guess what is a good cost per lead that you see? What's the best you've seen for one of your clients?
So cost per click, a lot of people are paying for clicks to their website between like I said, 10 to 20 bucks per click. But our clients are paying on average 6 to 9. So it's possible to optimize and get lower costs. And that's great. Then depending on what your conversion rate is and what you're asking people to do, you multiply the conversion rate by the cost per click, and that'll tell you what your cost per lead is. We've seen some be very efficient. We've gotten a gated content offer down to $11 to $13 per conversion, which is great.
For gated content, yeah.
Yeah. For full on calls with sales, I would say it's pretty rare to get them down less than $150. A lot of times we see a cost per scheduled meeting with sales being between $150 to $500, which again makes sense. That's why I suggest you really want your lifetime value to be high.
Totally.
Because if it's costing you, anywhere near, let's say $500 per demo, you got to compensate a sales rep. You have to finance more ad costs. You have other overhead in the company, and you still want a return on investment.
So when is the time to do it in-house? When is it time to hire an agency? When is it time to say, okay, I just need to work with somebody?
I think if budget is really low, like if you say, AJ, you're saying 5K a month, we don't have that, but I still want to test it out. I think it would be a good idea to try it internally, because you can get more of your budget to be spent on ads and not paying an agency.
Yeah.
That being said, there are some major pitfalls that it's honestly just tricks that LinkedIn pulls on people. Maybe they actually believe that these things are best. I don't know. But there's like the 5 pitfalls of every time I go and build a campaign, they're making suggestions that are not in our favor and cause us to pay too much.
Well, so, give me the juice here. Like, what are these 5 pitfalls?
Yeah, I'll cover 3 of them really quickly. These are the most egregious. One is you choose the targeting, and then right below that, LinkedIn auto checks this box called LinkedIn audience expansion. And we're already paying a major premium to advertise on LinkedIn and choose the people we want to go to. Why in the world does LinkedIn think that we should leave it up to them to shove less qualified people into our audience and muddy it? So always uncheck that box. That's pitfall number 1. Pitfall number 2 is they automatically turn on a placement called the LinkedIn Audience Network. And the LinkedIn Audience Network sounds great in theory. You see high click-through rates, low cost per click, being able to target your LinkedIn people around the web. Sounds great. But every time we've tested it, we find that there's like fraudulent spam bot clicks that are coming from it. And like 1 or 2 publishers that will spend your entire budget in the first 20 minutes of the day. And obviously problematic. So I don't touch that unless I have a really strict allow list or a block list going. And then number 3, the bidding method that LinkedIn selects by default, and they actually hide the better one. The default is called maximum delivery, and you're paying on a per impression basis. So they have all the incentive in the world to just show your ads and not actually get you clicks, actual engagement. But it turns into, it's the most expensive way to pay for your LinkedIn traffic over 90% of the time. And so if you select the option that's hidden, it's like a show more options, they'll give you one that's called a max cost per click bid, or a manual bid is I think what they call it. And then the secret here is that LinkedIn's going to say, oh yeah, manual cost per click. We suggest that you pay $20 to $90 per click. And you say, no, that doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
You way undercut that. So I usually like to start in North America at like a $7 bid and just see what happens. Because if you're not spending any money, you're not getting enough impressions on your ads, you can always increase that bid. But those are the major pitfalls that keep people from actually having success. So if you go and try to do it yourself and you make sure that you're avoiding those pitfalls, I think that's a great place to start out, get your feet wet. And then as you up your budget and find some success, maybe go seek out an agency then.
So for all you DIYers that are listening to today's episode, make sure you mark where AJ just said all of those tips, because that's gold right there. And I think that, I'm sure you talk about this in your community all the time, but these are things where you don't know what you don't know. And it might appear like LinkedIn's trying to help you, but like you said, they're just trying to get more money. So that's gold right there. All you DIYers, listen to that again before you start launching your very first LinkedIn ad, because that is some great insider tips to get more bang for your buck.
I was actually just on a call yesterday with a LinkedIn rep. When you're spending hundreds of thousands a month, you get access to really skilled reps. And just like every other network, if you're not spending very much and they give you a rep, you're going to get someone who has no experience. They just repeat what they've been told. And so I get, especially every quarter, reps get moved around in the smaller accounts. And so at the beginning of every quarter, I get a whole raft of emails, someone introducing themselves saying, hey, I'm your new rep. By the way, I noticed you don't have audience expansion turned on, and you're not running the audience network, and you're not bidding by maximum delivery. You should go change that. And then I just had a meeting yesterday with a LinkedIn rep who said exactly the opposite. She was like, I'm so happy I get to work with you, because I know your accounts, they're not running audience network. They're not using audience expansion, and they're bidding right, and we're not overpaying, and just thank you. So
that's awesome.
Ignore the bad advice that you get from LinkedIn's lower level reps, because the ones who actually know what they're talking about, they would disagree with it, with all that advice.
As we wrap up today's episode, AJ, man, I can't believe how fast this has gone by. If you had one ad where I said, here, AJ, is $50,000 and it's for whatever business you want, It's doing whatever type of campaign you want. What would that campaign be? What would like your dream? I mean, because we're trying to make ads sexy here, let's be real.
Yeah.
So, but like, what would this dream campaign be for what, type of company? How would you set it up?
Ooh. Steer me if I'm going a weird direction here. But I am a huge car fan. And so even though I don't own one and I probably never will, I love Ferraris and Aston Martins and Lamborghinis. So if I could choose my ideal client, it would be one of those major luxury brands. Or I also really love cruises. So I would love to work with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line.
I love cruises too.
But yeah, if I had my dream, that's what it would be. And because I'm an enthusiast myself, I think I would start with something like, if it's an Aston Martin car kind of ad, I would start with videos where I'm showing people elements of the car that are totally unexpected. Everyone else knows on cars, like what the 0 to 60 time is, how much it costs, how much horsepower. But if you show someone like, this isn't current, but you show someone the Aston Martin key and you say, this isn't just a key, this is art. It's a personally engraved crystal that plugs into your car. Like those kinds of things, I think make people really passionate about your brand, knowing the little things that they wouldn't know otherwise. I think that's where I'd start.
Oh, I love that. And I had no idea that Aston Martin had crystal keys.
Yeah.
Just to show you my, fancy luxury car knowledge. But well, AJ, I know we talked about your community, your podcast. Obviously, you're the guy to follow on LinkedIn for all LinkedIn ads. If people want to connect with you, see you speak on stage, anything else, what's the best way for them to get all things AJ Wilcox?
Yeah, I think following me on LinkedIn is probably the best. Or if you want to connect, just make sure you customize the connection request and say that you heard me on Katie's show, and then I'll be happy to accept it. I just get a lot, and I only accept them if I know who, like where you come from or who you are. So, but yeah, I'd love to connect with you there. I share all my best stuff for free. And I try to just give as much value as I possibly can.
And be sure to check out the show notes as well to check out AJ's community. You have a couple great options. If you are looking to grow your business, if you're in the B2B space, and you may want to just kind of see what it's like running these ads before you go ahead and hire an agency. Check out this community. It's going to be a great opportunity for you. So, AJ, thank you again so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Thank you so much, Katie. Have me back anytime.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.